March 25th, 2025. Just about 10 till 6 at the Merriam Community Center for the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting.
I just realized I didn't use the restroom before I came in. That was not gonna be good for an hour-long meeting.
Is this going to be a long one? Is this going to be a long one, you think?
I don't know, depends on how much,
She said
depends on how much pressure she's
Yeah.
feeling.
Maybe that age. Yeah, like this new stuff.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Wait to have a photo taken with the wiener. Yeah, they don't know Oscar Mayer. What do you say, man? Because you don't see that OSCA.
Yes, the Wiener Mobile, my bucket list might be complete now.
I've had my photo taken with one before. It was at High V a few years or so ago.
Yeah.
So I stopped and now immortalized.
That's a dry eraser.
And there's the drying.
If you use the wall,
Hang on.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Lovely,
Lovely, that's good.
lovely, simply delightful.
still pretty nice outside.
Alright, in the shade it's starting to get a
It
little.
was a little cool.
Too cold for the meeting,
Oh,
because I put it on
Here
jacket.
it is.
It was good, we kind of finished moving, which is nice.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's always a stressful time, especially with a baby.
It's great. Loved it.
Yeah. You'll be unpacking boxes for months.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
If not years.
You will have left the house you went through, and it was 100% vacant. Everything went on the truck or in the car, and yet there will be things that have disappeared into the ether.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Where
it's
did they
like-
go?
Where did the blender go, or whatever it is?
Yeah.
You will do.
The top.
tray of silverware. We had taken
Yeah.
everything out of the kitchen, except one drawer had every single fork, knife, and spoon we had. Moved from Nebraska.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Gone. Yeah,
So that
right.
box marked Christmas.
Yeah, right.
That's a gift for the
Uh,
next phone over
It's
there.
like, just throw it in the box.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Always start labeling boxes nicely, and then the last day,
Yeah.
it's just chaos.
MISC.
That's
We
what
would
That's
never
what-
open
yeah.
that box again.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it just moves into the basement.
Yeah, that's, yeah, our basement is just all boxes. And you're like, we have this big, nice, like, the house size of a basement, and now it's just boxes.
Yeah. And the space feels much more quickly than you would anticipate.
Yeah.
My son was 2 weeks old when we moved.
Oh, my God.
He had just been born, and so I always know how old he is and how many years I've worked for the city.
Where in Nebraska?
22.
We're in Nebraska.
Well, we were moving from Iowa.
Oh,
But yeah, from Des Moines, but
Des Moines is a good town.
yeah.
I was just up in Omaha not too long ago, below Omaha. It's a good market,
Yeah.
the old market area,
Oh, yes, yeah.
and the Haymarket in Lincoln.
Yeah. I've not been to Lincoln before. Yeah.
What year was it that Des Moines flooded? It would have been in the 90s.
Yeah.
And went under the,
Yes, 93.
that's what I
believe.
was thinking.
Yeah.
So my dad was a truck driver and he drove for Kimberly and Clark and he said, I was teaching at the time, I had the summer off and they could take a child with them. And so I counted at the time.
Oh,
So I
okay.
went with him for a week and we rolled into Des Moines and stopped at some truck stop and they're like, yeah, no, we got nothing. Like,
Yes.
what do you mean? Yeah, just minutes
Lights out.
ago, the water treatment plant went under and there is no water and we are closed.
So I worked for the city during that time,
Well, that had to be
Parks
fun.
and Recreation, and so we.
What
would call-
river is that?
Huh?
What river is that?
Well, there's the Raccoon River and the Des Moines
Oh,
River.
Des Moines River.
So those two, yeah. And so they brought us all in, and the National Guard was bringing in potable water. It looked like a giant balloon
Mm-hmm.
that they airlifted in, and they dropped them at the elementary schools, thinking that
People could
schools
go
are,
there.
are spread out throughout the city where people could come and get water. But they were worried about people like rioting and you know, because you really only could take, at that time, 2 gallons of water is what you were allowed, 2, you know, like milk jugs.
Des Moines people rioting?
No, it never happened. It basically turned into me and a couple
tried
guys
to-
playing frisbee all night long,
Yeah.
because we were just
I
there.
remember one time I was working in Omaha and then driving back on
Yes,
29.
Tyson,
And I had to be
Thank
one
you.
of the last cars before they closed
Hi,
29.
Katie.
Oh,
And
gosh.
that food flooded, whatever it was, I don't know, 2011 or
Did you
whatever.
guys go back
Hamburg was
yesterday or today?
isolated, you couldn't get in, you couldn't get out of Hamburg,
Oh,
which is
wow.
mile marker 1 if you
Kids
remember.
got
Yes,
it.
yes,
Hamburg,
yes.
Yeah, yeah, you could not get in and you could not get out. It was isolated island there.
So when you were driving, did you stay in Des Moines or were you passing
No,
through?
we were just passing through, and it was one of those things,
How you
we've
doing?
been down the road a long time, it was like, we're gonna stop and go to the bathroom, get something to eat, and there was nothing, like, we might be able to go down to McDonald's.
Hi,
Here, they're
Glenn.
still operating, so we got there, and like, well, the bathrooms are closed, but somebody had run and purchased a whole bunch of canned pop, and they're like, we're still cooking in the back, cause it.
Really? Yeah.
And so we got something to eat and some canned pop.
Oh, good.
If we want to rearrange the agenda to address, new business, feel free to do that since the Orchid Society is here.
Okay,
We'll have to have a conversation as
The
a
water
board.
was so scarce, that's where we coined the term.
That we all agree.
If it's
that we do
yellow,
that.
let it mellow, if
Okay.
it's brown, flush it
After
down,
I call
because
the meeting
you
order.
you had to use a gallon of water to flush
Then
it. Yeah.
we can.
make a motion.
We
Yeah,
can
it's
just
like,
say, it's there.
literally it just
I would
happens,
like
like I
to
said, we got some
consider
food,
moving this
got
on
all
the
that.
agenda, we all.
14 days, 14 or 18
And
days or something
David
like that.
is not
Because
gonna
once
be
it gets
here.
into your
David.
I saw
Yeah.
that.
water treatment
I
plant,
haven't
Yeah.
done the physical, but I
everything's
did.
contaminated.
Everything's
Potentially, and so you have to.
Okay, 10 seconds late. Okay, let's call to order our Merriam Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting for late March 2025. Public comments, Bill?
You want me to go first or the Orchid Society?
No, we're gonna make a change in the agenda, so go ahead.
Okay, sure. So one little detail I'd like to add that I didn't bring up last month about the incident was that our community center happens to have a really robust video surveillance system. And I would like to know that that would be used in the future before anyone is trespassed or accused of causing a problem. If we have that footage, we should review it before making a decision. And anything else I have is actually related just to the things that are on the agenda. So I'll save it for that time and I'll just raise my hand.
Okay, thank you. All right, as was suggested by Anna, I'm gonna propose that we change the agenda and move the new business to the front of the agenda. The Orchid Society people are here, so we're gonna, if that's okay with everybody, we're gonna give them the floor.
Is that okay?
Alright, so how this works is, they're just here to answer questions. New business is still on me, but that way they can hear the decision. So included in your memo was a cover memo that I created, kind of highlighting, the request and, what this looks like. So the original request of the Orchid Society is to reduce the fees charged at 2 upcoming events from the commercial rate to the residential rate. The events are the Orchid Auction on Sunday, April 13th, and the Orchid Show the weekend of October 23rd to 25th. The Community Center has partnered with the Orchid Society since December 2021, when they began renting space for the monthly meetings. This would be the 4th year the event would be held at the Community Center, and there have been no issues in previous years. The commercial rate is $145 per hour compared to the residential rate of $95 per hour. And the reason they qualify for this event would normally qualify for the commercial rate is they are collecting money. So there are admission tickets, there are fees that they are collecting as an organization. So that automatically, that's how we define commercial, just to clarify for everybody in the room.
But you are a 501c3, yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Due to the nature of the event, staff is recommending that the Orchid Society be responsible for paying all the hours the rooms are occupied during normal hours of operation, as they are not available to rent for other use. So for instance, on the weekend, if they're in at 3, but they're leaving at 7, but the building doesn't close till 9, that's 2 hours that the room is losing revenue,
Right.
because we could not. It's not available to rent. And that is standard procedure with all rentals that we do. If approved, the Orchid Society would save approximately $1,700 in rental fees. This savings would benefit the mission of the Orchid Education. And that's why they're a 501c3, and that's why they qualify for asking for this request, is because they have a mission beyond, and that's what this fundraiser is for. Staff recommends that Park Board approve the rental rate reduction as requested. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. If I cannot, then there are ladies from the Orchid Society here. Ladies, for the record, would you please give us your name in case you happen to answer a question? We can note you in the minutes, please.
And I'm Crystal Remington.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, are there any questions from the board in regards to this request?
I think they've used the room several years in a row. Seems to be
Seems straightforward.
any questions? No? I move that we,
No, you'll have to call for a motion. You can't as the chair. Sorry, sorry.
I'm not used to being.
I know, you're not used to being the chair, but I'm still trying to.
So I will call for someone to make a motion to approve the request.
I move that we approve the request of the rental rate reduction from commercial to residential for the organization for the annual auction and orchid show.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes.
All right. All right, ladies, we
You're
will
welcome.
make sure Lisa knows, and she will be in touch, and we'll get it all settled up then.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, approval of the minutes. No, I'm sorry, Bill.
Sure. So, do you want me to talk now about the minutes, or one of the things I wanted to mention? I saw Tyson there twice on the
It
minutes.
was in there twice.
I saw-
Oh, okay. Sure, go ahead, 5 minutes.
Sure, I'll be quicker than that.
Okay.
There was also an error in public comment. My comment was written down as I'm upset by the renter, what the renter did. That is not the case.
Oh, okay.
I was concerned that our community center staff lied to the police. I was concerned that a citizen was trespassed from the free public area of our center in retaliation for his peaceful message. And I was concerned that 320 patrons' lives were endangered by exceeding fire capacity, as stated by Lisa at that event being 250, and the newspaper shows it's 320. That's all I had about the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other comments or suggestions, updates, corrections to the minutes? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes from February, when did the minutes? February 25th.
2015. Okay,
I said.
All right, all in favor? Motion passes. Okay, directors report.
All right, so as always, there was a detailed memo in your packet. I just have a few updates to this, just to tie up a few loose ends of things that are going on. The Desert Air motors were successfully replaced on Friday. The additional tests confirmed that the smaller compressor suffered significant damage due to the one-phase loss of power and will need to be replaced. The larger compressor was not impacted and is operating efficiently. The compressor has been ordered with a lead time of 6 weeks. So right now the unit is operating, we're monitoring it, it seems to be operating fine. So humidity levels are way better than they were a week ago. We have started working on the 2026 budget, and so I told you one of the things I would bring back are some of the things we're looking at as projects to be considered. So general operating needs are one of the main things that we will ask about, but in addition to that, we're looking to replace our washer and dryer. We've started experiencing issues with it. It is 5 years old and it does do quite a bit of laundry. Creating additional storage at the welcome desk, utilizing the back cabinet. You might not be aware, but those back cabinets are not cabinets at all. They're just panels. So we're looking if there's a way to maybe transform that into storage. And then replacement of CPR training equipment. We are discovered that we have a tear in our gym divider curtain. So we're trying to decide if that's a repair, replace, what that looks like.
Question, Anna, if you don't mind. Are employees Red Cross CPR certified?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody has to be certified.
Okay.
And that's why we have the mannequins here.
Okay.
We also have the AED trainers.
Oh.
And so we just need to replace a few of those because over time, with training all of our lifeguards and the drop drills that they do, they're well loved.
Right, I understand.
Okay.
Certifications for 2 years, so we kind of
Yeah.
have different staff at different times going,
Yeah.
but usually all the time we're
I've been
recertifying
through
staff.
Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
We're also looking at potentially adding a new piece of cleaning equipment to our fleet of floor machines, something that will get closer to the baseboards and be a little bit easier to manage than what we currently have. And then we will continue the picnic table and trash receptacle replacement program that's happening out in the park. So every 4 years, every year we have been purchasing 4 picnic tables and whatever we can, 4 to 6 receptacle containers, because the ones we have are bent and rusted and having some issues. So we're slowly starting that replacement process. So we'll continue that until that's done. So those are some of the things that we're looking at.
How long do you guys think that cycle will take to get through all of them?
This would be the 3rd year.
Third year.
And so depending on,
Probably have
probably another year,
two.
another year or two, yeah. But we're taking out the worst ones
Sure.
first, so it's almost like an immediate, like, oh, that
Wow.
looks nice, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then, well, I should take that back. Last year, we did a couple parks specific, so it was really impactful at those parks. This year, it kind of was, that one's really bad and that one's really bad. Some of them weren't as bad. So we're trying to now evaluate them based on their condition. But they are all they're acceptable, but when you put a new one next to it, then it's like,
Yeah.
Oh.
you know, you start a project.
Were we really living like that?
Yeah, you start a project and then you're like, it just keeps going. That's kind of where we're at. But in my 12 years, we've only bought picnic tables when we purchased a shelter. So this is really the first time in a long time that we have really undergone a significant change like that in the parks.
And the trash receptacles, we're going all to recycled plastic, so they won't rust out like the other ones did.
And collect bags again?
Huh?
And collect bags again to
Yes.
make recycling receptacles.
Yeah. And so then the other update I wanted to give you is that the art committee, since we don't have anybody that serves on that anymore, and it is a project that's going to be here on the site, I'd just like to kind of give you an update as to where that at. They've selected Kara Lynch, Miller Groves Collective, and Beth Rabbits as semi-finalists for the MCC parking structure project. Their proposals are due April 1 and will be shared with the public online. And and there'll be a display here at MCC also for people to comment on. So you'll be able to give your general feedback with a comment card or on an online form. So
Should this board have somebody on the park commission?
we did, and
Wasn't that Christopher?
yeah, and at this point, they just haven't reappointed anybody because they have quite a few people.
Oh, they do, okay.
So, and it's not always gonna be in one of our spots, so they just, at this point, they just haven't done anything to make that change. Are there any other questions about those updates?
Bill, you have a question?
Yes. So I have some background in three-phase power, working for data centers. I think we're lucky that it was just one machine that was damaged. When the single phase goes down, the other two stay up, things get out of balance. Compressors, large motors like pump motors for the pool can get damaged in those cases. I would strongly recommend flipping off any three-phase breakers when you have the symptom is when lights all around the building, but about a third of them start having issues.
It happened very quickly.
Yeah.
And, it was one of those things that when it happened, we reacted as quickly as we could, but when it happened, it did the damage immediately.
Yeah, and fortunately, once the new generator is installed, that has the ability to protect us from that. Just as long as we make sure that when the transfer switch is programmed, that it's programmed to switch at any whiff of problems.
It is going to be. We've already had those conversations.
Awesome. Well,
Thanks for your input.
I'm glad to hear that. And on the Wienermobile topic, that was in the
That's
We haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, sorry. I thought we
We're not quick.
That's okay. Here, you want an agenda?
I was looking at it. I saw the flyer down there.
Okay.
Right, so are there any other questions about the update? So, included in the report are your membership numbers. I gave you details as to how that breaks out, what that looks like. I always like to give you an idea of where we look at for March as we near the end of March. So, membership visitation is averaging 361 visits per day. That's an increase of 4 visits per day over 2024. With nicer weather, we might see that drop off a little bit because people do like to be outside. I don't blame them. But as of today, we should surpass March of 2024. Daily visits for March are averaging 63 visits a day, which is also an increase of 4 per day. How funny how that works.
Yeah.
So again, not knowing what the weather's gonna be like, there's a good possibility that we will surpass March of 2024. Revenue is going to surpass without any problems. We're about $4,000 away from surpassing right now.
Can you scroll?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
2 things at once, George.
Okay.
So that's the membership report, and then this is the visits comparison.
All right, thank you.
Mhm. So, anyway, those are all those numbers for February. Any questions about those items? Okay, then I'm gonna move on to our unaudited budget report for 2024. I say that because, and I like to stress this, our audit doesn't begin until next month. But these are the final numbers that finance has provided to me, and to kind of put a close to the year, just so that we can, maybe in April, be able to bring you first quarter. I'd like you to see how we finished 2024. So kind of run through a high level of what we're looking at. So this right here is obviously expenditure, so we'll start there. Overall expenditures finished about $234,000 below budget. In comparison, that's an 8.1% savings. Revenue on the other side of that, you'll see revenue exceeded budget, was an increase of 22.3% over what was anticipated. The only expenditure line that went higher than 100%, so it exceeded budget, is our technical contracted services line right here. This line is our credit card fees, and unfortunately, because of COVID, we didn't have very good historical data for this building, and so we would never have expected that we would have exceeded revenue by 22%, and so obviously the majority of that is because of credit cards. Because we saw 23 when we were doing 25, we overshot it this year. I think I have $70,000 in that line. So we should be over budget this year, but then there'll be a budget savings because obviously we won't use that for anything else. But that's some of the things that you're seeing as we're starting to get better historical data. You'll see us start getting those expenditures and revenues a little bit closer. One of the things I do share with my staff, since we are in budget season, is I don't want to see revenues that we haven't hit. Like, I don't want you to think, oh, that we're gonna do $225,000 in that line when we've only done 165 in the past. I don't mind seeing growth, but that kind of growth is ridiculous. Like, that might not be sustainable. So we are trying to find that fine line of, we've seen big jumps in growth, but is that sustainable growth? So we're trying to find that fine line so that we can get better at our revenue budgets. Because yeah, it's great that we exceeded it, but we still want it to be realistic. So we still are working on tuning all of those numbers each year.
What about the fleet management? There's a huge difference.
Well, so what happens with fleet management is because we weren't sure we were gonna have the truck. And so we had the minivan and we were having lots of problems with the minivan. So they just kind of give us a general number. That includes gas and tires and upkeep. Any maintenance. And so you just never know. So that number is likely gonna stay a big difference, but I don't control the fleet maintenance line. That's controlled by the fleet maintenance department. So they will take care of that for us. So on the revenue side, sorry, just making sure. There are 7 lines that finish below budget. When I was reviewing those, that was the aquatic rentals, the Punch Pass, holiday special events, youth education programs, child watch, land group fitness, and concession cart. Now, some of them were really close. They were in the 90%, but when you have other lines that are hitting 170%, it's like, okay, what happened here? I do want to remind you that our fitness coordinator has now been in her position almost a year. So last year she had 6 months and she was learning her job. One thing that we're very excited about is, we now have the Silver Sneakers fitness class that she's teaching. She's teaching a senior strength class. She's grown our personal trainers. We're seeing in this new summer guide, when you see it come out, there's lots of new things for kids that are gonna be planned. So we do anticipate these programs kind of catching up to where the aquatics programs have been, now that we have somebody that is got a year under her belt and really excited about doing a really good job. Just as an example, for the Turkey Creek 5K, she got six new sponsors that we've never had this year. So, I mean, we're very excited. So we anticipate this just kind of being one of those lulls because of staff, and that will happen when you're down a full-time staff member whose job is to create programs. So we are excited about what 2025 is gonna look like. And of course that's making 2026 harder. Also, because it's like, okay, how do you manage that growth and manage that excitement and still be realistic? So one of the things we do talk about for our department is the cost recovery percentage. And so our cost recovery is the difference between expenses and revenues, recognizing that we do things like reduce fees. We have scholarships. We host a lot of city meetings, chamber events. We host trainings. So we do things for the community in this building that we don't necessarily recuperate revenue from. So that is what we call what is subsidized by the general fund. So when we started this process, the goal was to be at 66% cost recovery. So we missed it by a hair, but let's remember that when we were doing this, salaries were much different than what they are today. Things are, so we will get there, and we'll probably, our goal is to exceed that, but it is something that staff is very mindful of, that we want to keep the cost of recreation affordable for our residents. Since they do pay to utilize this facility, we want to make sure that what our variance is not more than what residents can afford.
Is there any way of determining whether or not the new library has affected attendance at all?
I don't know if that's really something we can necessarily track. I mean, we hear people say they were coming here to the library and hadn't been in this building, but vice versa, we've had people go, oh, well, I'm here, I'm gonna go to the library.
Yeah.
So There is some impact, it's just what that percentage is,
They're not
it's,
trying to bump up their books anymore.
I wouldn't say that. I
Every
don't,
once in a while.
every once in a while. People are getting better, it's officially a year, so, anyway.
Yes.
I'll be glad to answer any questions about, how 2024 looks.
Looks good.
All right.
Okay, the first evaluation that was in your packet was the Heartland Artist Exhibition. Remember, this is our big annual art show where we have art show that's juried in from all over the United States. One of the things internally that we kind of look at is that we would like to cover our award portion, the $3,300 for the awards. And we had 60, is it 3? Yeah, the class, 60, thank you, 63, where we were about 10 artists short of our goal. We need to have 73 artists to capture the award money. So we were close, but we fell just a little bit short. But still a great event. It's on display right now, so if you get a chance to take a peek at it on your way out or throughout this month, it's really some pretty nice art.
Is there any way of getting a sponsor for the awards, as in, you know, a local gallery or something other?
Possibly. I mean, we've never really explored that option. We have like the Tim Murphy Award and Susan Hayden Award, and so we do have some named awards, but we really haven't gone after sponsors per se. But something we certainly can
Do
look
we
at.
get sponsors for the car show, for the awards for the car show?
Well, that's just a car show, overall car show sponsor. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we actually get a lot. The car show sponsors, it's $7,000-8,000. We're the
And in that regards, when they get their car show award from a sponsor, so like, when
yes.
Suburban Auto gives us $500, there's an award that's called the Suburban Auto Award,
Sure.
and they pick their car
Yeah.
for that award. So it's
A little different.
if you add a sponsorship, we'd have to really evaluate that because
Yeah.
they would not be picking their winners. It'd be a little different.
yeah.
Just to put the name on the award.
Yes.
CarMax, first, you
Yeah.
know, first place or something or other, Seaboard or whatever.
Yeah. Something we can explore. See if we talk to Ingrid about it, see if we can do it. Any questions about the Heartland? Second one we have is the Magical Kingdom program. This was a really fun event where kids got to actually meet a couple princesses. Renee said it was a wonderful event. The kids had a lot of fun. There was a lot of activities. In fact, I think one of the notes was they had a lot of food left over and they thought that they almost had the kids too busy. They didn't have time to eat. But just a great interaction, a great memory making event where they got to meet some princesses and do some activities and have some fun, some photo ops.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the chair rental? Don't we have enough chairs?
We
They needed a special.
they need a special chair. We
For
just
photos and stuff?
yes, correct. So yes, a giant princess dressed as a
Okay, got it. Got it.
yeah. So similar to our chair with Santa, it's something that we could possibly look into, but then we would have to store the chair for
Oh,
got a
yeah.
very
No, I just
specific
really- I
use.
just-
Yeah.
I was thinking regular chairs and we have lots.
We have hundreds of chairs in the building, correct. It just wasn't,
And a princess chair.
that wasn't a princess chair.
Thrones.
Yes.
No thrones.
No, exactly. Any other questions?
Keep them in the office.
Okay, next area are just some upcoming events that are coming up in April. The first one is our art gallery reception, April 3rd. So we'll take the art gallery walls down, and every time we do that, it's really bizarre to see it. It just looks like it's so huge after we take the walls down. But we'll be back into just regular art shows without the walls, all the way up until the high school show, which is in December.
Dave, you gonna do you track sales?
We do, yes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we do. Remember, we get a commission, the artist gets 70%, we get 30%, and, yeah.
I
we do.
didn't see that anybody bought any of these, so.
Not yet.
Not yet, no.
How about the photography, exhibit
Mhm.
in
So
January?
they sold prints.
All right, okay,
Yeah, and Jeff had one sell too. I approved those, so.
okay.
Sometimes we've sold as much as $7,000 or $8,000 worth of art in the course of a year.
What's our take?
30%.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
That was gross. That was the gross sales. Yeah. So, so I don't say we sell art, but we don't sell a lot of art. It's not our
From an
main
artist's
focus.
perspective, they want to sell them, that's for sure.
Yeah. And because we have our stuff online, I've heard of artists that have sold something after the fact, like, their exhibit is gone and somebody's either saw it and then looked at it online, and so we've even sold art after the fact.
So they leave relatively happy one way or the other, we hope.
Yes, yeah, very much so. And then the next one is a brunch with the bunny. Pleased to announce that it is completely sold out, and it's been sold out for the last 4 years, I believe. Basically,
I think it's sold out.
every year.
I think it's sold out every year.
Yeah, so,
So
very,
who's
very
doing the
popular.
pancakes? I thought the Boy Scouts were doing it again.
I think they are.
Yeah, I think they are.
I thought I read that, we were going back to the guy that flips them.
Chris
Oh,
Cakes.
Chris
This,
Cakes.
that might be for this one, and they do the Santa one. And,
Yeah.
I don't, I believe Chris Cakes does this one because he's always been available to do this one.
Chris,
I will
we're
find
gonna
out
get
for you,
used to
though.
the
I
meeting.
don't know.
Kathy, I'll find out who the pancake vendor will be.
We really like the Boy Scouts doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's nice that there we go. They will be at the 5K, Turkey Creek 5K too, for pancakes, so. Any questions about brunch with the bunny? The next one is Superhero Day. Hopefully we'll get some more registered for this. Currently, we don't have very many superheroes. But we've still got some time, so hopefully we'll get some people. Any questions about superhero?
Got a lot of stuff going on.
We do, yeah. And then number 4, the Wienermobile is coming to Merriam. We're very excited. We are on their tour. They will be over at City Hall parking lot for viewing, if you'd like to come see the Wienermobile, and for a photo op. And you had a question?
Yes. So I think it would have been awesome to have it in the plaza between the library and the community center. I know they have a movable bollard, but I hope we'll still have plenty of good attendance at City Hall. The director's report mentioned that we could not put it on the upper level of the garage because of the height limitation.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, it's only just open air. It's got to be that bollard thing we installed.
It's the thing,
Yeah, so the city spent tax money to install a height limit bar on a upper level that has no physical obstructions above it.
So
And there was a weight
the-
limit.
So-
It's weight limit.
Yes.
And so, I will tell you, I was on the upper deck before the height bar was installed, and a truck drove on it, and it shook.
Okay.
A truck too tall was on it. So if we want to protect our investment, we need to limit the height and weight of the vehicle, and the easiest way to do it is by height.
Okay.
Because we've had people hit the bar not knowing
School
their
bus.
height.
Yeah, the school bus incident, I remember that too.
So the bar is obviously the same height as lower level. So
Yeah.
another good reason for that is I'm up on the upper level, and if that was not there, I go down to the lower level and get completely stuck. So it's the same height as the lower.
Yeah.
It's
I think also, that's a
standard.
Saturday, I think the City Hall parking lot will be.
We are very busy
Yeah.
that day. We looked at every
City Hall
option
parking
to
lot will be
host.
Yeah.
We looked at every option to host the Wienermobile here. We've got rentals in all 3 rooms, all day long. We have, both birthday parties, back to back to back to back to back. Our swim lessons, our programs, you put this in the plaza along with all of that traffic, and we're not handling any of it. So we were very thoughtful and deliberate in where we put the Wienermobile, trying to accommodate the business of the day.
How did we acquire it?
It was a coordination with Slater Street
With
Antiques.
Antique store.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They had some connections and reached out to Karen Crane at the Visitors Bureau. And Karen was like, well, I think this is better with parks. And so we started working with them and the hot doggers, and
I think there'll be long lines.
it'll be a good day.
I feel bad that I did not have enough time to put together the competitive wiener dog races. I just couldn't get that context made for
Maybe we could
all Metro wiener dogs to come out and race.
Maybe we could sell hot dogs and raise some money.
Exactly. There's always next time. There's
Yeah,
always next time.
really.
Sorry, so, about the barrier that we have on the upper deck.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to spend tax money taking it down or changing it, but if it's ever damaged and needs replaced, my suggestion would be to put bollards, like, those yellow, 4-foot ones, you know, to make it a single lane coming in and make it like a car-sized lane. Movable bollards, so if we had an event, we could move them and put the Wienermobile there, but generally they would stay and it would calm traffic, because people would have to wait their turn to cross, and it would prevent physically wide vehicles. Wouldn't actually restrict weight any more than the height one would, but
So are
It would be
you're saying
movable.
you're restricting traffic going in and out of the parking structure to a one lane bridge?
that's one way to do it. Or maybe a chain that's removable for events like this, instead of having a physical, like a, solid piece of metal. If it was a
The
chain. that you
Oscar
could take down.
Meyermobile is almost 12 foot tall,
Yeah, and if you took the chain down, it's 100 feet tall and it'd still fit in there.
but we don't know how much he weighs.
Well, yeah.
Next-
We
I
could
think
make
it's
our,
Our next
Pretty,
opportunity
like,
with the
typical,
Wienermobile,
like,
we'll take that into consideration.
Around the United States, like, this is not an uncommon restriction on a parking garage, so I don't feel like we should try to accommodate a future fun vehicle by doing something totally different.
yeah, and I'm not, and again, like I said, I don't want us to like spend money taking it down right
Yeah.
now, but it will get broken at some point probably. And when that happens, if we replace it with a chain even, a height limiting chain, that way for official events that need a higher thing, super easy, just take the chain off and they can come in, you know what I mean?
All right, thank you. All right, Dave?
Okay. Any more questions about the Wienermobile? Okay. Program updates, Tree Creek Festival. Basically just wanted to share the save the date. It's Saturday, May 17th. We're in the process, Renee is very busy, process of planning all the vendors, concessionaires. The dinosaurs will be back. I know they were a big favorite last year. And so we're hopefully, please say your prayers for nice weather on that day. Does anybody have any questions about the festival that I could maybe answer? We're doing really good on returning concession vendors. We're pretty full as far as our other vendors that come and set up at the festival. So we're just kind of waiting for the day to come.
Renee has already put out the request for
For
volunteers.
some volunteers, yeah. If you are available that day, please email her. And then the farmer's market update was also in your packet. We are doing something new this year. It is a car air freshener, as well as the bags that we always give out. Thought it would be a neat idea if it was in your car and you wake up Saturday morning and you get in your car and you're like, hey, we should go to the farmer's market, because the logo's right there. So hopefully that'll help us maybe bring some people to the farmer's market. We're doing really well on our actual vendors. We had 4 more additional seasoned, go from daily vendors to seasoned vendors. So we're really only gonna have about 3 stalls available for daily vendors. And last year, we had a lot of daily vendors. So I'm kind of pretty confident that it's gonna be pretty full with vendors. So Saturday, May 3rd is opening day. So that's where you can get your free shopping bag and a car freshener. Any questions about farmer's market?
Did the vendors seem positive about the change in hours?
Yeah, we have it. You know, this will be kind of our first test, so it'll be interesting to see if what feedback we get. I know she has on here that April 9th will be our pre-season vendor meeting. So we always have a pre-season vendor meeting and then a post-season vendor meeting. So at that post-season vendor meeting, that'll be when we can say, you know, hey, what did everybody think? We think it was a great idea, not a great idea. And I think I've shared I'd much rather shorten the early morning
Right.
versus cutting the market from, like, say, if we cut it from 1 to 12, because we wouldn't want people to try to then start to leave at 11 or whatever, so.
Didn't they kind of ask for this?
Yes, they said it
time
was,
change?
yep, said it was kind of a dead time, and they really didn't see a lot of people until 8 o'clock. You know, some of the counts was, you know, you'd have 30 people, so, you know, that's not a lot of people that early in the morning, so hopefully it'll give them a chance to get their booth set up, and then we'll just start at 8 o'clock.
It's good to show results from the post-market meetings too.
Yes, yes. Well, and it's because we wanna listen to all our vendors and get that feedback and say, yeah, we could try it, see how it goes and evaluate it and.
Okay, very good. Anyone have any other business to bring up?
Anna? Did you already talk about that?
Oh, I told some people, but then
Okay.
I left to go take care
Oh,
of
I
them.
must
I was
have.
really curious about what these towels are.
So the towels at your location, they were the towels that we ordered as part of the January promotion. And so now that the January promotion is complete, we're going to use them as giveaways for other events. And so I thought, what better way than if I'm gonna give them to other people to make sure that our board has one for their collection as well, so.
These are our luxurious gifts.
I still have my yellow one
Yep, and that's why we went blue this time.
in my
so
bag.
Now you have a complete set, blue and yellow, you're ready to go.
Get your air freshener and you're gonna be set.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay then. Anything else? Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
yeah,
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
all in favor? Okay, we're out of here.
All right. Thank you
World
very
rec-
much.
World record time.
Thanks,
Thank you, everybody.
See you in April.
Dave, did you say that Renee's still looking for volunteers for Turkey
What's that?
Creek? You said Renee's still looking for volunteers for Turkey Creek?
Correct.
Okay, well, like last week, she said it was all booked.
Well,
That's what she
Like the
told me.
parking
She'd
lot
already.
spots.
what, you have to talk to her, I don't.
Okay. Interesting.
So, okay, so then.
He gave my son graduates from K-State.
Oh, congratulations.
Go kids, go
That's
Lady
right.
kids.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're all
well,
watching and hoping.
What program?
He's doing a master's in architecture.
Oh, that's what my son and daughter-in-law did.
Did they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they both got their masters there.
Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
Where did you go on
Bye.
this semester abroad?
So he went.
Italy, Tuscany?
No.
No.
So there was,
Yeah, I need
they
to
had
fix
two
some
slots
more.
that could go to Scandinavia, and so he was in Copenhagen.
I was just
Oh,
wondering what
very
that
good.
was like.
So
Okay.
Matthew went to
I'll
Chunk
look
Mission
at it
North.
'cause I'm-
He graduated out there, he did 6 years of French, he did a second senior year abroad in France, through the Rotary program.
Okay.
And so he said, you know, I've been to that corner of the world,
Sure.
I think I wanna go up north, to Northern Europe. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool.
But it's been a great program,
Ancient city, should be interesting.
yeah.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Yep, I gotta get David's his too, cause I knew he wasn't gonna be here, so I'll grab Christopher's and David's. and-
We didn't have a towel.
No, you don't get a towel.
You don't have one or two extra?
Yeah.
I know, where's that?
Your staff, only, thank you for asking, David. Hi.
Somehow, or another, I think one will turn up. Billy, thanks, see you later.
I didn't go over 5 minutes, did I?
Oh, you were good.
All right, thank you.
Maybe a cumulative.
I was trying.
Close.
Keep it moving.
That's okay.
time is currently 6:40 p.m. This concludes recording of the Merriam Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting.